George Washington said, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is pretty close. He said, if we raise a standard to which we cannot later repair, that we cannot, that we won't later own, he said, how are we going to justify our work? How are we going to justify our actions? In other words, he said, we have to be consistent, and we have to actually do and say what we really believe. And one of the sometimes painful duties for a Christian is to say the truth when the truth is a little painful or a little unpleasant. And I'm speaking specifically now about the Sony hackers and the fact that these private emails between various people are now being published by various elements of the media. Sony is doing everything they can to browbeat members of the press into not publishing them. But unfortunately for them, there's just no way that genie's going back in the bottle. However, I want to say for the record that I side with those at Sony and in the entertainment industry that are decrying the fact that these emails were made public, and they're decrying the media for printing them. The media should be ashamed for doing it. And by the way, if somebody asked me, well, then was Edward Snowden wrong for making certain, emails public? Or first of all, Edward Snowden unveiled the fact that our government was spying on us. And our government allegedly works for us, all right? They're the servant, we're the master. So when somebody is in power, a position of authority in government, and they are using that authority to harm us, to steal our freedom, to spy on us, then at that point, we do have a right to know, all right? I was looking last night, I found something, I'd like to read it to you because it's kind of interesting. I found a Jewish website that talks about Leviticus 25:17, which says, you shall not wrong one another. And I'm going to read this to you just because it's interesting. It said, this has traditionally been interpreted as a wronging a person with speech. It includes any statement that will embarrass, insult, or deceive a person or cause a person emotional pain or distress. Here are some commonly used examples of behavior forbidden by this mitzvah. You may not call a person a derogatory nickname or by any other embarrassing name, even if he is used to it. You may not ask an uneducated person for an opinion on a scholarly matter that would draw attention to his lack of knowledge or education. You may not ask a merchant how much he would sell something for if you have no intention of buying it. You may not refer someone to another person for assistance when you know the other person cannot help. In other words, it's a violation of Jewish law to give someone the runaround, and so forth. By the way, you can see that we're outside recording. You can hear that we're outside recording. We are still in the middle of trying to finish our studio. There was a few more things there, but as I was reading them, I was happily surprised about some of the similarities between this Jewish author explaining what rumors were and that you're not allowed to harm someone's reputation, and what the Catholic Church canons teach about rumors and telling people things that they don't have a right to know, and about embarrassing someone and about harming their reputation. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was good. And, I truly despise most of the Hollywood elite. I just do. I mean, may God have mercy on their souls. There are a few noble people out there, like John and person of interest. What's his name? The guy who played Christ? The actor? Jim Caviezel, yeah. But most of them are practicing pagans, okay? They're the pagan elite. But I do not want to rejoice that some of their embarrassing emails are being circulated, because it's just wrong, all right? There's a passage in the proverb that says, do not rejoice when your enemy stumbles, lest the Lord see it and be displeased and turn his anger away from him. We don't want those types of things happening to us, right? And the scripture says, love your enemies. And the scripture says, do unto others as you would have done to you. So I think that while we're in the middle of rejoicing about some of these embarrassing emails that are coming out, we need to step back and say, no, this is wrong. And the muckrakers at the media are wrong to make such a big deal out of it. We'll be right back. Do you want to get America out of the hands of wicked and unjust men and women who are destroying the republic before our eyes, and put leadership back into the hands of righteous men and women so that we don't die as a nation? Well, you're talking about social revolution, and there are rules in social revolution. We can look at the victorious social revolutions of the past, such as the end of slavery, the end of child labor, women's voting rights, the end of segregation, and so much more, and learn from their victories. Look at their actions, their images, their rhetoric, their sacrifices, and their final fruit. We will send you this series that originally cost $129, 7 books for students, 1 teacher's guide, if you'll give a gift of any size and just pay for shipping and handling. Take advantage of it today.